Guys, back with part two of this of my comic review. Like I said, big list, and unfortunately, I can only get about a certain amount of minutes for myself. Um, so we're gonna kick it off, keep going with the last few Marvel books I had, and uh, it's a book I think a lot of people have been like on the offense about, and you know me, guys, I am myself about it, and I do understand why they did it, but I'm going to ride this storm through no matter what. And that storm is, of course, Captain America #1. Yeah. Now, we all know why they done this. And I keep hearing Marvel talk about they still have big plans for Bucky. So, we all saw what happened to Bucky. Now, we all know why this is happening. Okay? But, despite that, despite that, Marvel, because you do get a big this for doing what you did to Bucky. But despite that, I've come to the conclusion, guys, that Ed Brubaker is probably one of the best Captain America writers now, in this day and era now. He knows the character very well. He makes the character so great, so believable, so like you get behind Steve uh, as well. Steve McNevy artwork is very good in this book. All those that probably seen the preview, the beginning of the book basically starts off Steve and Dum Dum Dugan, Nick Fury, Sharon Carter, or them are at a funeral. And I'm gonna spoil this for you guys. The funeral is for Peggy Carter, Sharon Carter's aunt, as well as Steve's old love. Uh, she died there in Paris. She played a big part in the Freedom for Paris during the big WW2, so they were honored to have her being buried there. Uh, Something happens. I'm not going to spoil all that for you, and this book goes more deep into Steve's past. More villains, more people from Steve's past are resurfacing. But it's really good to see the gang like Steve and Nick and Sharon and Dum Dum all together in this book. It was really good. Um, but the one thing I love that always is great to hear Steve always say to me, and this is just me, I love hearing Steve always say, I keep forgetting at times that I'm a man out of time. He's a man from a different era, jumping now into a new century, a new day where things work a little differently now. And I love when they always write that in him. And he always talks about, I should be an old man now, but I'm not. And Ed, Mr. Brubaker, does a great job at that. I can see why he's probably one of my favorite writers. He is up there as one of my favorite writers. If I did a top 10 list of favorite writers, which I still have to do, he'd be in that list. But not bad. It's just that I know we all are upset of what Marvel did to Bucky. But it was not bad. Alright. FF #6. Alright. Hickman, sir, you do a good job. Mr. Hickman, you still do a good job with FF. You are a good FF writer. But really, I mean, this book was pretty much, believe it or not, guys, I nearly fell asleep reading this book because it was just a retelling. It's basically a retelling of how Black Bolt comes back. That's all. But it was pretty boring. It was pretty boring. Now, I'm probably not the only one that says that. That if you ask them about this, people will probably say it was pretty boring. I can't say anything more. It was pretty boring. Um, I mean, maybe if Marvel would have been smart and left this cover and then put something different for issue 5 instead of showing this man right here in the background, then I would have been maybe a little more intrigued, but it kind of failed. Ah, Incredible Hulks number 632, part 3 of Greg Pak's final story, Heart of the Monster. This was good. We get to see Hulk cut loose on some of his enemies, and especially this one right here. Uh, what I will also say is we also see Hulk nearly become a world breaker once again. But just showing you that Hulk is a badass, man. And Greg Pak, I'm so sad to see you leaving this book. Uh, but it was damn sure good, nonetheless. Uh, very good. Hulk cuts loose in this book. Not just for his family in terms of Jennifer and Rick and all of them, but he just cuts loose on his enemies because it's like, you want to mess with me? Alright, I'm going to show you why not too many people mess with me and walk away without being injured. It's good stuff. Okay, Journey into the Mystery, number 625. This story continues where Loki is still trying to help the Asgardians by the assembling help for the Serpent, and when I mean assembling help, meaning people like Mephisto and Hela and people like that. Uh, it was good to see Mephisto and Hela in this book. The dialogue between those two characters was good. Loki, young Loki, just comes off as a really mischievous little thing in this book. Uh, Nonetheless, if there's any other, Asgardian that kind of deserves this book, Loki. I'm glad to see they given him this title, but that's all this was just Loki devising a plan to get more help for the coming of the Serpent for during Fear itself, and that's all. But it was good to see Mephisto, good to see Hela in this book. All right, New Avengers number 14. Bendis, artist, one of my favorite artists, Mike Deodato. Excellent job in this book. First and foremost, let's start off with the book. I'm going to give you a little bit of what the book starts off. The book starts off at the Avengers Mansion, basically Spidey saying he wants to quit the team because he can't take, basically because of the fact that he can't trust Victoria Hand. He still has beliefs that it was her who set them up, why Mockingbird got shot and nearly died. That's pretty much it. Wolverine pulls him aside, and we don't know what happens after that. And then that's when the assault on with Red Skull and all that happens. But it's mainly a story about an interview with Mockingbird. And in this book, Mockingbird tells about how she nearly died, what was injected into her to keep her alive. Now, basically, I gave you clues. I told you guys, if you wanted to know, just ask me. Now, what's been injected in her is a combination of the super soldier serum and the infinity formula that keeps Nick Fury kicking and alive. So she's got two formulas in her now. And we get to see the newly improved Mockingbird cut loose in this book. And boy, does she ever. You look at this book and you like, go Bobby. That's Mockingbird's real name. You're like, go Bobby. She cuts loose in this book with not only with both of those formulas in her, and she loved it. She even says it in one of the interviews. She was like, I never really did a lot of interviews, and her ex-husband Hawkeye used to tell her, she's like the silent type, but she talked about, like, I was impressed, I loved it. um, and that's pretty much what this book is all about, just seeing the newly informed, newly improved Mockingbird, and the ending of what she said she's gonna do in this book was like, you know what, if she puts her mind to it and she gets a chance, she's gonna do it. uh, I'm not gonna spoil what that statement was, but it was good to see Mockingbird cut loose with the super soldier serum that made Steve Rogers and the Infinity Formula in her. It was really good. Nonetheless, very cool indeed seeing that. And that's pretty much all this book was. Alright, guys, and the final book is, yeah, X-Men. Uh, Skimmish, whatever, how you want to, Schemish, Shimmish, uh, part one of this big, you know, the X event. Uh, Not bad for the first issue. Not bad at all. Um, this book gives you, to my opinion, gives you some clues of who's going to be on Logan's team. Wolverine and X-Men when it relaunches, as well. Um, we also see the we get to see a little tidbits of the relationship that Shadowcat and Wolverine had when he was young and she was like his young sidekick. We also get to see Wolverine, Logan, basically once again, as he's always doing with the younger teenage mutants, being like that father figure to one of the new mutants on the team. Her name is Edie. You know, she's one of the mutants that Hope is found. Uh, but not bad for the first issue. There was some little tidbits, some little shockers and things like that. Of course, the Sentinels are in this for all those that didn't know, but also there seems to be a new Black King for the Hellfire Club in this book. But nonetheless, still good. It was not bad at all. All those people that are a little skeptical about this book, I say give it a try. You might like it, but it still hasn't given up. We are seeing tidbits of what might set why there's going to be a split. The logic between Wolverine's thinking and the logic between Cyclops' thinking, and you know that's pretty much all the first issue was. But I can't. I'm gonna ride this book through. I want to see. There's only 5 parts to it, so I want to see what those 5 parts are and how they're gonna do it. So, guys, that's all I have for this week. Like I said, 14 books, and it was fun. It was a hell of a read. I had a lot of fun reading, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you picked up some of the books I've had. Don't forget, guys, I will review those 2 books that came out this week for next week. Check out Blue Goblin's review as well. Keep subscribing to both of our channels. But other than that, this is M.V.K Kid saying peace, one love. Stay tuned, guys.